Welcome back, Shalligators, and happy Thanksgiving. If you're in America, you know it's Thanksgiving today, and that means one thing. It means stress. And not all stress is bad stress. Certainly, it may be you're traveling. Traveling can be very stressful. Even if you're going home to see your family and you're so excited and you can't wait to get out of the city and back to your mama's house, or maybe you're going someplace with your whole family. You're going to Puerto Rico for the weekend, or maybe you're road tripping with the boyfriend. The holidays are stressful. Like I said, even if you're happy about what you're going to be doing, there's still a lot of sort of wrenches in the machine that get thrown our way this time of year. But that doesn't mean we can't roll with it. Some people in life truly cannot. They're gonna have a fucking meltdown at the dinner table when crazy Uncle Marty says something they don't politically agree with. They're gonna have a meltdown at their hometown bar when they see their ex. It's just gonna be meltdown city. That's not us. Even if we do have a bit of a meltdown over some things coming up this holiday season, we know how to do the one thing that truly, studies show, creates happiness and confidence. We get back up. The word for that is grit. So we are going to have two key words this holiday season we're going to focus on: grit and gratitude. It's the Gigi holiday. Gigi holiday, baby. My grandmother is named Gigi, so that has special meaning to me. Speaking of grandmothers and grandfathers and mothers and fathers and brothers and cousins and everything in between, you might be dealing with a bit of a lot right now. So today I want to just do a quick little pep talk for you guys. It's just one. It's always just one. Okay, we're going to go over there? Thank you. About what I think like the three main stressors are if you're going home for the holidays, or even if you're not going anywhere. Seeing an ex, like seeing a hometown ex, right? Weight gain, huge one. And dealing with family. Dealing with family. Now, if you want, we can do expanded videos on all of these topics. And I'm pretty sure I've covered them last year and maybe the year before when I did Vlogmas, I mean, when I do a video a day in December. I'm not going to do that this year. I just don't have it in me. It's really, it's a lot. So I'm sorry. I'm going to be doing a lot of videos for you guys. And I do have to say, please, Jesus Christ, please don't make me watch Love is Blind 3. I really don't want to. I can't. Please don't make me do this. I'll do any other subject. I just can't, please. I can't watch Cole and Zanab. I can do a video on them. I will do a video on them. I will watch enough clips and I will get enough information. Tell me what the topic you want on Cole and Zanab, or pick one couple. Please. I can't watch the whole series. I literally have too much to do. I ask so little. Please. I'll be thankful. Okay. So I'm going to do a little pep talk for you that you can kind of keep in your back pocket either today if you're with family or as the holiday season goes on. Even if you're not with family, it doesn't matter. The stress does not miss any one of us. But before we get into it, I have a little holiday fashion preview for Black Friday that I think you guys are going to like. Hey there, Shalligators. Well, it's the holiday season, and you know what that means. Shopping. And yes, we're supposed to be shopping for other people, but who cares? We want to shop for ourselves, right? But we also don't want to be blowing our budget. That's a ho-ho horrible idea. So what's a girl to do to zhuzh up the wardrobe a little bit? Well, I've recently been rediscovering a brand I've been wearing for years, Cupshe. They make fantastic resort and summer wear, but turns out they also make really cute party and winter wear. And they've just done a collaboration with Bachelor alum Lauren Lewandike. So I decided to try on a few looks and tell you how to style some of them. This one I'm obsessed with. First of all, this bodysuit. I've gotten so into bodysuits lately, and this one is great because it's really thick. Can we talk about this skirt? If you want to, be a little bit more conservative, you can just sort of unloosen the little tie and pull it down a little bit. If it's time to cut loose, you yank those strings, honey, and you show that thigh. A silk bias cut skirt is like the new staple of my wardrobe. They really are so appropriate for anything from like an office party or even just a day at the office. Or again, you can like sass it up a little bit with some strappy heels and wear it out. You can pair it with a crop top. Again, I wore it with this bodysuit. I cannot get enough of this thing. And girls, if you're updating your wardrobe, the staple piece you gotta have is the little black dress. But first, can we talk about this coat? It's winter and it's the sleeping bag time when we all wear those depressing North Face puffy jackets and we just look like a sleeping bag, like walking upright. It's so fun. Plus, you can adjust the straps to show a little bit more cleavage or make it a bit more conservative, but sometimes you need to be both cozy and casual. I love this sweater. It is so soft. I don't deal with an itchy sweater. And oh, wait, am I wearing it backwards? Yeah, okay. Nice job. But see, that just goes to show. It's so easy and versatile. And the reason I didn't know I had it on backwards is because there's no itchy tag in it. But it's fantastic. So girls, if you want to refresh your wardrobe and not blow your budget, head on over to Cupshe and use code Shallon15. Take advantage of their Black Friday sale because the first person on your list should always be you. How fun are those looks? And I have a whole other set of some different ones to show you tomorrow. I think you're gonna like those a lot also. I mean, some of the funnest little outfits. Okay, anyway, let's do some pep talks. First, let's talk about family, because arguably family is the most stressful thing. Why? Because we can't control family. We can control our spending, we can control our eating, whether or not we want to admit that we are in fact in control of everything that goes both out of our pocket and into our mouths and into our, if we're going to talk about exes in a minute, okay. But we can't control other people. Believe me, humans have lived, what, 10,000 years? And that's been the central aim of a lot of civilization. How the fuck can I control other people, okay? So when you're sitting around your dinner table, just ready to explode because drunk Aunt Jean is going on and on about the Proud Boys, just know that you are in good company. You're in the company of Emperor Augustus, of Alexander the Great, of Benito Mussolini. He's not a great dude, but you know what I'm saying here, okay? Humans forever have sought to control the opinions, behaviors, and the tongues and the speech patterns of everybody else. So please, first of all, there's going to be both sides that I'm going to present on all of these things. First of all, understand that as Augustus, who did I say? Alexander, Benito, they don't have the right to police how people think and how people talk. I mean, they thought that they did, and in the past, actually, they legally did. But as a human being, no, they didn't have the right. And you don't either. But I'm right, girl. I know. You guys have watched me over the last few years go from very liberal to much more moderate. If anything, kind of swinging a little bit more conservative. I mean, on some things. I will ride or die for abortion rights forever, but I'll ride or die against vaccine mandates because I'm a body autonomy absolutist. And unfortunately, there's no party for people like me. And I know a lot of you guys are in that same category. It's like, I'm not a Democrat, I'm not a Republican, I'm a logic person, I'm a logician. Where is our party for like logic, you know? And there isn't one out there, and it can feel very isolating. But because our words this holiday season are grit and gratitude, this is what I want you to do. Instead of turning something like you feel isolated because your political beliefs, and maybe you're very conservative, maybe you're very liberal, maybe you're not a moderate, it doesn't matter. This is the thing, like wherever we are politically or religiously, or in terms of what kind of music you like or what you like to dress, or maybe you're a vegan and your whole family's like deep frying everything that called standing still today, you feel somehow like you're on the outside. And this is what I want you to remember. Everyone feels that way right now. They honestly do. My liberal friends in well, they're not my friends, they're my mom's friends, because my friends are, anyway. My liberal people that I know in California, they feel completely disenfranchised. My Republican friends feel completely isolated. Me as a moderate, who are my people, right? Please understand that this is actually, many times, the human condition. Why? Humans are inherently completely in love with themselves, right? We are all just delighted with ourselves. Why do we know that this is true? Because we want to always date or marry or be around people who are exactly like us, don't we? Well, what does that tell us? I want to see myself mirrored in everyone who's around me because I'm so fantastic. That's the other half of that logical argument, okay? So the good news and the bad news about our unending self-fascination, right? The bad news is we're always going to think that we're right. Crazy Uncle Marty believes he's right. You, maybe crazy cousin Shallon, believe that you're right, you know? So the way through all of this is not, as civilization has thought for millions of years, and how we think, is like to change someone else's mind. Because when you think of it from a really deep point of view, like I have to change someone's mind means I have to talk them out of love with something. Could I talk crazy Uncle Marty out of love with his third wife that he bought overseas? She probably came from a catalog. Could I talk him out of love with her? No. I couldn't talk him out of love with someone else, let alone his own self, right? I can't do that. And when you look at it from that point of view, it's like, yeah, okay, I don't have that ability to talk someone out of their own self-love. What can I do? I can instead try to hold up things that reflect how much we have in common. What am I saying? Talk about shit you guys actually get along about. Talk about the Indianapolis Colts. Talk about why Chevy is better than Dodge. I don't know, but like if you truly cannot find anything to align with these people about, I kind of think you might be the problem. And I have had this conversation with myself a multitude of times. And do you know what? Do you know what I go back to? To be like, no, I can do this. I can find something to talk about with anyone. I go back to my days as a sorority girl during Rush, when some chick was coming walking off a fucking bus, getting shepherded around during Rush. And I'm like, who is this person? She like dropped down on planet Earth. I know nothing about her. And I had to talk to her for 10 to 15 minutes. And I had to find something that we all agreed on. And I would come up literally with like stock questions. Like at the time, I was like, what kind of stuff does your family do for Halloween or Christmas? I love hearing about what people's like family traditions are. I think they're so funny and so fascinating. Obviously, if you're talking about your own family, that's like kind of asked and answered. But what can you bring up? Uncle Marty, did you see Top Gun this year? I saw it 5 times in the theater. Did you see it? I know. How hot is Hangman? Like whatever it is. But listen, if you aren't trying to find that middle ground, that self-love mirror reflection thing, what are you trying to do? And again, I've had this conversation with myself many times because when I go home to California and I'm around my mom and her friends, they're all blisteringly liberal. They speak about their Republican friends in hushed tones as though they're like, got arrested for being pedophiles or something. It's like, oh, Linda, she's a Republican. Oh, is she? Yeah. Oh, God. Well, yeah, glad we didn't invite her. Oh, I know. Can you imagine? That's how they speak about them. And I know my super conservative friends speak about liberals the same way, right? So if you are going into these scenarios with something other than a mirror, right? Like we're reflecting the positive things, the commonalities back, other than a mirror directive, what are you trying to achieve? Well, I'm trying to get my point across. Okay, why? Well, because I'm right. And like, what is the goal? Tell me in your perfect world, magic wand, genie wishes scenario, what that looks like. I'll go for myself. I'm sitting at that Friendsgiving table with my mom's liberal friends. And I'm saying like, you know what? Like just because Linda's a Republican doesn't mean she's a bad person. And in fact, 58% of the people who have died from COVID are the vaccinated. So now it's the majority of people who are dying from COVID are actually the vaccinated. But I remember all y'all heavily implying that I'm the fucking devil because I won't get the vaccine. That's what I want to say, right? If that's me speaking my truth, I'm speaking my truth, okay? Okay, and then what do I think is going to happen beyond that? And I did this exercise with myself, and do you know what I came up with? Jack shit, not a thing. I got as far as I'm speaking my truth, and I'm laying out these truth bombs. I'm like, and I had no concept of what I even wanted, not what I anticipated. Forget that, forget the realistic aspect. I had no concept of what I wanted to happen beyond that point of my verbal catharsis. Do you know that catharsis comes from a Latin word meaning diarrhea? So when I kind of looked that in the face, I'm like, okay, then is it worth the record scratch at dinner? Is it worth Aunt Dee and Aunt Jean and Cousin Jerry looking at me and being like, okay, is it worth that? Because I guess I could say that the ideal outcome was for them to be like, wow, you're so right. You are so smart. We are so sorry that we gave you shit about the vaccine. Is that realistic? I mean, is it? If it was realistic, and again, whatever this issue is, maybe it's politics, maybe it's veganism, who knows? If that was a realistic outcome, why would you feel so stressed about these interactions before you get there? Because you would be with what I call a soft audience, right? They would be malleable in terms of their opinion, and they would be likely to hear you out and be like, my mind has changed. Probably that's not who you're dealing with, hence the stress. So again, this loops back in on itself. If you know your audience is a hard audience rather than a soft one, what are you doing? Why? To what end? What is the point? Now, for me, listen, because I'm a high level rhetorician. I'm a high level arguer. I could argue and debate, most people, and I can come pretty close to winning. I don't know that I could beat Candace Owens or Jordan Peterson or Barack Obama, but I could maybe hold my own for a few seconds before I started to cry. But I can even come up with arguments back. It's like, well, this is what I need. And I need to stand up for myself. This is a big thing. I need to stand up for myself because these people, first of all, hold on, time out. Well, these people have been oppressing me and making me feel bad. Is it actually these people? Have these individuals, Aunt Jean, Aunt Dee, Uncle Jerry, ever said anything to me directly and pointedly about my stance on the vaccine? Have they? Well, no, when I think, no, they haven't actually. But I know how they feel. So you're saying, Shallon, that people are not allowed to silently feel the way they feel about an issue the way they feel about your choices in that issue. They can't even feel that way? They can't even be silently thinking something? Who do I sound like? Oh, I know who I sound like. I sound like the people I hate. Sometimes we need a little fucking perspective, okay? And this isn't a video to tell you that you're wrong and you shouldn't stand up for yourself. If people are directly attacking you, listen, that doesn't say turn the other cheek. It says ruthless, okay? And by the way, all my necklaces are on sale. Definitely go check them out at the link in the bio. I'm not saying you shouldn't stand up for yourself, but ask yourself if that is in fact the situation. Are people making direct threats, accusations, generalizations, judgments at you? And listen, for some of you, the answer is yes, no, they absolutely are. This is not in my imagination. This isn't a fake argument I'm having with them in front of the bathroom mirror. This is very real. This is real. Okay, all right, let's see what we can do about this. So my tactic with dealing with people like this is public shaming. It's an exceedingly effective strategy for control, domination, coercion. In any other manner of evil empire building. There's a reason people get executed publicly. I think it's weird we don't. If we're going to execute somebody, I think it should be public. The whole deal is that it's supposed to be a deterrent. It's supposed to be sort of gruesome and show the power of the empire, whether that's ancient Rome or Republic, revolutionary France or America. If you kill them in private, it sends no message, essentially, right? They actually become martyred. But what a dark example to fuel the next portion of this video. But you'll hear me out. You'll see what I mean. Public shaming, and we've talked about this in terms of when we talk about Evil Week and how to get power over a coworker. And one thing you want to do is you want to call them out in public. You don't want to pull Jan aside and be like, hey, I worked really hard on the Hobbs project, and I just don't know why you didn't mention that in the meeting. You say that shit in the meeting. Hey, Jan, would you like me to pull up the emails where I was actually supplying you with all that data for the Hobbs project and you came in at the last minute because you said you'd been too busy dealing with your dog's illness? Do you want to should I pull that up, or do you want to pull that up right here and now? It's up to you. It's totally up to you, Jan. People need to know, okay? So here's how you're going to do this in a public setting. At a Thanksgiving, a family thing, a Friendsgiving thing, because look, you're not dealing with Jan, who you can despise with the fire of 1,000 fucking suns. You're not at work to make friends. You're there to make money, get your bag, and climb the ladder. That's not what you're at Thanksgiving for. That's not what you're at the holidays for. But that does not mean you still cannot act with a degree of ruthlessness. But here's what you're going to do. You're going to dress it in this candy-coated layer that is going to shame anyone who comes against you. Shame anyone who comes against you. This is what I've said. I would say, Uncle Marty, like, I understand, you think I should have gotten the vaccine. But you know what? This has been a really difficult year for everybody on the planet, for all of us. Like, Aunt Susan has overcome cancer. Cousin Billy has decided he has a penis again and is no longer using they, them pronouns. Like, we've all been through a lot. I personally have come here today to celebrate and show gratitude for my mom and my Aunt Linda, who've worked so hard to make this. And I really think we should all be here in the spirit of gratitude instead of combativeness. Don't you guys think? Like, aren't you proud of Aunt Susan and Billy, who has a dick again? Like, aren't you, like, I don't know, Uncle Marty, do you not feel grateful today about some things? Or Uncle Marty's going to think fucking twice. Because everyone, even if they agree with him, even if they're like, yeah, you didn't get the vaccine, they're going to look at him and be like, that's right, Marty. Maybe we should be appreciating Aunt Linda for how hard she worked on these fucking mashed potatoes for 2 hours. Yeah, and Susan's been through a lot. Maybe we could all just come together in the spirit of collaboration. And I know what you're thinking. Oh no, my family does not come together in the spirit of collaboration. It's basically a joust, and everyone's going to smell blood in the water when Uncle Marty says that, and they're going to gang up on me. Okay? We talked about this in The Crown. Saying nothing is the hardest thing in the world. Do you know who's bad at it? Me. I always take the bait. And this is something truly I am working on as an adult. And I should have made it an endeavor to work on this literally 15 years ago when I first became an adult. It's better late than never. It's tough. It's really tough to not like go knives out and start defending yourself and instead double down on the gratitude statement. Like, okay, Cousin Kim, like, if you guys want to talk about the vaccine, that's great. I prefer to talk about what I'm grateful for. So Billy, why don't you go first? Tell us what you're grateful for this year. And if you can do that enough times, I think people are going to be like, yeah, let's not do this right now. Like, let's be grateful. Let's have fun. Somebody go get the pie, blah, blah, blah. But I also understand that not everyone is like us, and not everyone really wants to protect their peace. And so it might be that you have to look out for yourself. If your gratitude statements are getting you nowhere, then you have to go into grit. You have to deploy that one. And this means, you know what? I'm going to do the calculations in my mind before I sit down to this dinner or before the football game or whatever. If you can do this ahead of time, do it. If not, see if you can do it right there in the moment of cost-benefit analysis. What is it going to cost me to fight back with Uncle Marty? And hold on, you might be saying, well, it's going to cost me nothing. Arguing with him is free. No, it's not. It might not cost you money. It might not cost you even a huge amount of time. Is it costing you energy? Your currency this holiday season isn't money. It isn't calories. I mean, it's those things too, kind of. But I want you to chiefly think of your currency this holiday as peace. You have a finite amount, right, of peace. And once that gets chipped away, you have no more peace. And what is the opposite of peaceful for you? Anxious, exhausted, burnt out, sad, nervous about the future. For me, when I'm out of peace, it is a catastrophic domino effect in the rest of my life. I'm not just tired, because we think like, well, it means I'm tired and I'm overworked. No, not for me anymore. It goes so much deeper than that. It's, I can't do this job anymore. I don't mean anything to anyone. I'm going to die alone. I'm an idiot. Everyone is disappointed in me. I shouldn't even be here. It gets real dark real fast. That layer of peace is the cushion that I bounce against and I bounce back up when the going gets tough. And when that's gone, boom, it is a hard impact at rock bottom. So that's what I want you to think of this as. I'm losing a layer of my peace if I choose to engage with this. Is that fair? No, it's not fair. I know that. I get it. I'm not going to tell you it is. And I'm not going to tell you the high road is fucking fun. It's not. But I don't want you to think of this as the high road, because we talk about the high road. Fuck the high road if it's a cover for cowardice. That's not what this is. That's not what this is. This is not a cover for cowardice, because you're not a coward. You have no problem engaging. This is the protection of that cushy layer of peace over the rock bottoms of life. The peace blunts the little corners. You know, you walk through your house a little too fast and you bump your hip on the corner of a glass coffee table and you're like, that's going to leave a horrible bruise for weeks. The peace rounds that off, okay? That's what you want as you move through this holiday and through life. So ask yourself, am I willing to lose a layer of that peace so that when the going gets tough and I hit, I'm going to hit harder because I have eroded myself? Is this worth it? And you know what, girl? Sometimes your answer might be yes, it is worth it. Maybe it is. If people are bullying you about your weight or your gayness or you being vegan, sometimes it's worth it for you to be like, you know what? I really came here to have a grateful, loving experience. I don't feel like I'm getting that. I don't feel like anyone is out for that same goal. I feel like you guys want to come here and fight or you want to hurt my feelings. So I'm so sorry, but I'm going to go home, or I'm going to eat the rest of dinner in my room, or I'm just going to sit here and I'm just not going to talk anymore. And I love you guys, but like, I just really don't want to be part of this conversation. I'm sorry. You have the divine animal right to protect that peace. That layer alone is spent by you, and it is created and it is protected and nurtured by you. Nobody else. Nobody else. And we look through life to have other people who create it. Oh, a boy will create that layer. Money will create that layer. Being thin will create that layer. Not from what I've found. I am thin. I do have money. My layer disappears just as fast as everybody else's. I'm sorry, not to be a braggy douche, but this is true. Maybe I should be stacking like the bodies of men I loved before and destroyed. You know, maybe I could like use them as like an impact. I don't know. We'll see. But you got to figure it's on you, baby girl. No one's coming to save you from your own peace erosion. And listen, you might be at Thanksgiving now and it might be a fucking nightmare and you're there, okay? And it might be a matter of you got to suck it up. It's 4 more hours of your life or 3 more days until you can get back on the train to the city, and that's what it is. You can do anything for 4 hours. You could get waterboarded for 4 hours and survive. You could. You could spend 4 days in Guantanamo Bay or Rikers Island and you'd survive, okay? This is where the gratitude comes in. I want you to look around for what the gratitude is. Even if it's as small as, well, I get to do my laundry while I'm home. I know dad's going to take me to Target tomorrow. I get to see my cousin. I get to see my dog. I get to sleep in a place that's quiet. I get to be away from my annoying friends. I get to take a break from work. Gratitude is not always going to present itself with a huge mariachi band behind it. It's going to come quiet. And that's why gratitude is so key. It creeps in and we have to be like, oh, there you are. Hi. It doesn't announce itself in these huge and, enormous ways. Are you watching this video now? That means you can see. Can you hear me? You can hear. Can you swallow? Can you walk? Can you stretch? Can you move? Like, that sounds dumb. Well, of course I can do that. It's not an of course. Your problems are someone else's fucking miracles. They are. They really are. And we got to take that little eyedropper full of shame, just an eyedropper, just a little, not an ocean, because shame can feel like an ocean. I'm going to dive in it. I'm going to drown. I'm going to sink in all this shame if I even look in that direction. And I think that's why some of us can't cultivate gratitude is there's an element of shame because there's 2 sides to every coin, right? And the opposite of gratitude is entitlement. And we don't want to feel like that's who we are, and we don't want to feel like that. So if we can just take an eyedrop of that, be like, I live in a house that's got heating, it's got walls. Is it perfect? No. Someone else would fucking cry for this. Do you guys follow this guy on Instagram called Murph's Life? M-U-R-P-H, like his name is Murphy, Murph's Life. Follow it. He travels around Central America, like El Salvador and I think Guatemala, like some of the poorest countries on earth. And I'll cry just talking about it. And he gives people like their first mattress that they've ever had. And they're like 60 years old. He'll buy them shoes. And he'll build houses. I mean, he does a lot, and it's all with donations. It's all, I donate as much as I possibly can. I think what he does is amazing, but it's also, and his message is like, be grateful for what you have. These people cried because they got a mattress, you know? And maybe you don't feel like you're much out of that position, but you're not there. You know, there's always something to be grateful for. And it really does. It takes this sort of emotional muscle to flex that and look for it and find it, you know? But once we can get good at it, we can move through the world like that. And you know what? That increases the layer of peace at the bottom. That blunts those emotional coffee table corners. That does it. Gratitude turns what you have into enough. And think about it. You know, the reason we get so stressed about our family, one of the reasons is like we feel like we deserve a better family. We're comparing ourselves. And you know what? I've said this before. One thing I love about the Kardashians, and one reason I stan them, is because they gave a voice to not having a perfect family. Because I don't see them as perfect. They're like fighting with each other. I mean, they're like 30-something, 40 years old, and they're pulling each other's hair and scratching, right? Or like someone's wasted at dinner, and that was always like that just seemed very weird and scary to me. You know, if my mom would ever get drunk, which like she never did, but that's why, because she never did. And I'd be like, oh my God, like I couldn't believe like my mother like got drunk. And then I'm like, wait a minute, Kris Jenner's drunk like 24/7 with her kids. It just gave me like a sense of like, okay, even this family that looks so perfect and has everything, they've got the same problems, you know, in terms of dynamics. And, you know, that helped me a little bit, you know, like no one's perfect. We're all kind of weird. That's okay. We don't need to feel ashamed about it. Truly, everyone's so weird. Everyone's so fucking weird. Just, oh, brother. So we can cover that more. Because I didn't realize I was going to talk so long about this. I'm like, damn, I promised them 3 pep talks, huh? We can talk about this more. Like, tell me more family dynamics that you want videos on. But let's move on to weight loss at the holidays. Or forget weight loss. Sticking to your diet. This is tough. You guys know I have been on my own weight loss journey over the last like year and a year and some change. I'm going to do a whole Ozempic weight loss update for you. I'm going to tell you what's going on, how I feel, how it's been, but I am down about, before I went to Italy, it was about 45 pounds. Now, I think I've gained a few pounds. I'm honestly afraid to weigh myself, and I'll talk more about this in a full Ozempic video because I'm kind of stressing about things. So the way I kind of stay sane, you know, when confronted with eating situations, it's twofold. Because listen, I know that eating situations at the holidays, it's a slippery slope, especially if we have been losing weight and we've been working hard. It's like, I don't think I can trust myself. You know, that's kind of what it comes down to. I can't put that pie on the plate. I might eat the whole thing. Okay? I know what that's like. I know what that's like. Don't put the pie on your plate then. Well, if I don't, then Aunt May is going to be like, why aren't you taking any pie? I get that. So if you're stuck between a rock and a hard place and you're like, I have to put the pie on my plate and then I'm going to have 1 bite, which means I'm probably going to have 5. Hold on. Did you get fat in a day? No? Okay. Did you lose weight in a day? If you've been working on your weight, did you do that in 1 day, in 1 meal? You just switched 1 salad and suddenly she's 15 pounds lighter. No, you're not going to gain it all back in a day. Okay. It takes time. So I want you to pull back and I want you to look at overall your behaviors, your eating patterns, okay? How much sugar, when you're eating, how much you're drinking alcohol, how much you're drinking soda, what time of day you're eating, are you intermittent fasting, blah, blah, blah. Track it. Like tracking your food is, talk about an eyedropper of shame. It really keeps you accountable. And more than anything, it's not there to like wag its finger at you a little. It's there for me. I track my food so I can see patterns. Like, ooh, I'm really susceptible to that salty treat around 4 p.m. or whatever these patterns might be. And I want you to look at them and be like, okay, overall, I am trending in terms of better eating habits. I'm overall trending better. Like, I eat more salads than I used to. I've incorporated more plants, like less animals. I've switched to diet soda, and I'm even annexing that out in favor of unsweetened iced tea or water or whatever. Am I trending more towards good and away from bad? If that is the case, have the goddamn pie. Have the damn pie, right? No doctor has ever looked at someone obese and been like, well, she ate pie once. No, I know, it was 1 time. It did this. No, it's a lifestyle. That's why they use that word. It's a lifestyle. Okay? So if what I'm saying is like, I don't think I am trending better. I think I am trending worse, or at the very least, the same. Have the pie anyway. Just for today. And then tomorrow, make a plan for yourself. Make a plan for yourself, okay? Today might not be the day where your family has cooked, where there's leftovers. This might not be the weekend where you are making a stance about your diet. You know why? It's rude. It is rude. It is. As someone who has been on like a million diets, but I've also hosted a lot of parties and Friendsgivings and stuff. If someone's like, no, I don't want that, I'm on a diet. I'm like, well, fuck you, Megan. Like, I spent a lot of time making this, you know? And I know that that's not fair. As I hear myself say that, I'm like, that's not fair. But this is my coding as like an Italian woman. Like, you feed people. And it's a one-way street. You feed them. I don't care if they want to eat. Y'all eat yet? You feed them. That's part of like the family ethos where I come from and how I grew up. And maybe that's you too. But the fact that I can acknowledge, be like, if Megan doesn't want cake, shouldn't need to eat the cake. Who cares? It's more cake for you. Yay. Thanks, Megan. You look great. So pull back from that and acknowledge that if Aunt May is like, you didn't have any pie, that is part of her coding. And maybe she's really proud of that pie. Or maybe she sees how hard you've been working at the gym. She's like, she deserves to enjoy herself. Or maybe she doesn't have these body image issues and she's like, it's just pie. Who cares? What's the difference? Or maybe she has nothing but body image issues and she's like, if I can't eat the pie and if I'm afraid to eat it, I'll feel less afraid if I see everybody else eating it. And then it's okay that I do. There's a lot that goes into food, especially with women, especially with family dynamics. It's a very sticky wicket. My point is, today at the buffet line, not the place to figure it out. Not the place to figure it out. Chalk it up as a loss. Today is a caloric garbage fire. That's okay. I bet it's actually not. Like, you probably aren't eating more today or this weekend, you know, if you're having leftovers, you didn't watch this video before dinner, than you would on your average drunken night out. I mean, think about it. You guys get pizza as you're getting ready and you like open White Claws and then you go out and you're drinking wine or maybe you're getting some apps or you're just like taking shots and then you hit Taco Bell on the way home. You think those calories don't count? They do. It's about lifestyle. So again, my point is we focus on the eating in this holiday and we focus on the food and we're like the other 364 days a year. Today ain't the day. It's obnoxious. It's so stressful for you and puts all this pressure on you. Doesn't have to be today. This is kind of like when you travel. It's like, how am I going to stick to my diet in the airport? You're probably not, girl. Eat the Panda Express at 9 a.m. It's fine. Unless you do this every day, unless you're just hitting up JFK for that Panda Express on your way to work, it's okay. It's okay. Chalk it up as a loss. Overall, how are you trending? That's all you need to look at. And last but not least, I do want to do a standalone video on this. Actually, I have done a standalone video on running into your ex. Okay, remember, we're talking about grit and gratitude, right? Running into your ex this weekend, I want you to divorce yourself from the mythology of what it would be like to end up with him. The mythology. Well, since ding, 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 ding. It's at your wedding. Your sister is staying up making a speech. Hey, everybody. Thank you so much for coming. I'm Callie. I think we all know how cute these two are together. And did you know, though, they didn't even start dating for real until they were in their 20s. They first met when they were 16 and they were like just soccer sweethearts. And then, as people do, they moved away to their cities. But then that one Thanksgiving, they found their way back to each other. That's what I mean by the mythology. Don't tell me you ain't know what I'm talking about, because you do. Because you do. Who doesn't want the alpha and the omega of a first love? What does that mean? Alpha and omega, the first and the last letters of the Greek alphabet. It's a big Christian thing, like Christ. You always see like Christ, the Cairo, and you always see an alpha and an omega because it means Christ is the beginning and the end of everything. I was just in Italy. I know too much about Christ symbology. But my point is, who doesn't want things wrapped in this tidy little bow? Because then Your horseshit lacrosse bro ex isn't just a horseshit lacrosse bro ex, and that's a sad end to your first love. That's a shit, piss poor end to the guy you lost your virginity with. It's a sad story with a sad end. Who wants that? No. But if you can take that sad story and plop it in the middle of a story with a happy ending, and then we got together, then it's just a sad chapter. Every great love story needs a sad chapter. That's rising and falling action. You have to let go of that mythology. Because what the end of that story is, it's still very happy. Why does it have to be with him? Why does it have to be with him? What if your happy ending is with somebody else? What if your happy ending doesn't have to involve a guy at all? And what if it never ends? Because life, I mean, you think about happy end, does that mean you die the next day? What is that? What are we even talking about? What if your happy end is, I'm cultivating a great life, and my happy end for this chapter, for this dude, is what I learned from that. Is what I learned. I'll tell you what I learned from my first love, who, total cocktail party, total wedding speech moment. We were like dating in high school, sleeping together through college. We got back together when we were 25. We went to Belize together. I was talking about moving to LA to be with him. And then one night he got all coked out and beat the shit out of me. Slamming my head down on the ground, choking me, I'm going to kill you, I'm going to kill you. Yeah. The mythology there evaporated pretty quickly. And the lesson, the happy end to that really brutal chapter is don't ignore someone's temper. Don't ignore red flags. People don't grow out of a temper. Very often they grow into it. And that sounds kind of simple. Like, it's not. I mean, it's not. Like, he would throw chairs at high school soccer games. He would throw things at the ref and say, I'm going to fucking kill you. And I thought, ugh, he's just so passionate. And that anything, any bad trait can and will eventually be turned on you. You are not exempt from that. In fact, you will get the lion's share of it as time goes on. He wasn't throwing chairs at his boss at the business dinner we were at. He was throwing them at me. My point is, instead of continuing to go down that road, I can fix him. I can make this better. I'm gonna write a happy ending to this. I was like, no, the happy ending is me proving to myself the grit. I can get back up after this, and I can move on, and I can leave the past be the past. And I felt grateful that I could leave the past behind like that I was no longer beholden to this cocktail party, wedding speech moment. That's over. And now I don't operate like that at all. I don't have that cutesy, that meet cute. I don't have that mythology. I have learned to divorce myself from that. It's tough. It's really tough with my Montana Hurt Locker. You know, I remember it's like, he was the first guy I met on my first night out in Montana, like whatever it was. Like, oh, how romantic. It's okay if your mythology is, we met on Bumble. I know. Who cares? Who cares? Tell a story with better mythology about your career, about your body and your how you ran that 5K, about how you made your money, how you built your house, how you wove that sweater for your dog. Mythology has a place in your life. Who says it has to be about men? Because then he's the co-hero in your story. No. I'm the hero. I'm Aeschylus. I'm Achilles. I'm Hercules. I'm Aeneid. I don't need any companion here. I don't need any fucking sidekick. So in terms of the gratitude, I want you to look around your life and say, why am I grateful that I'm not in that anymore? How am I grateful? And what does this nostalgia, you know what though? I want you, I'm going to link to this video because the whole nostalgia thing is a whole, I think I talked for like 45 minutes about it. So I want you to go ahead and watch that. I will close this video now and let you go watch that because I really break it down. I think in such a great way. But yes, tell me your other holiday topics. What do you guys want to see? You know, the holidays are coming. There's a lot of stress. Are there any celebrities? Again, please not Love is Blind. You can pick one couple. You can pick one couple. Who's it going to be? Cole and Zanob? What's the topic there? What to do when a guy is like emotionally abusing you? Because I mean, that seems to be what he's doing. Just like tearing her down constantly. Like how to identify that, how to combat it. Tell me. And I want you guys to have a good Thanksgiving. Be grateful for not just where you are in life and what you have, but grateful for who you are. There's so many people that love you. I guarantee that that's true. I guarantee that's true. Happy Thanksgiving, Shalligators. I'll see you later.